by the way, there is a cooler full of beer over there. Please have some. So tonight we have special guest, Ken Jordan. They're joining us here from Canopy, and we want to thank our host, North Shore. So before we get to have Ken go on, let's try to give us a little, just tell us a little bit about your building, how long you're here, what you got going on.
So I could talk too long, so I'm just going to condense it. But long time, most everyone knows this story, so I'll talk to the people that don't. Long time Midtown supporter. Lucky Town Brewing Company started in 2014.
Yeah, that sounds good.
2014. And I was starting a cold brew coffee business, and those guys that owned that were really nice. And this group, where Midtown Partners, convinced them to buy their building in Midtown. And so because I lived in Belhaven at the time, they rented me space in their back room, and that was how I fell in love with Midtown. And so I started my first business in Mississippi here because of those guys, and then ever since I drank the Kool-Aid and just loved Midtown. And so I actually moved that business to California, grew it really big, sold that, and then wanted to move back over COVID. And so came back and actually we were talking about some of those woes earlier, was able to buy that building back with a partner. That partnership didn't work out, and so my business I started here is North Shore Specialty Coffee. We had plans of buying the Lucky Town building back from the guy that had bought it with Lucky Town, still owned it. So bought it with the partner, and unfortunately that partnership fell apart. And so we were looking for other buildings, and my only rule for my people was that we're gonna stay in Midtown. Like at this point, we're committed, and the people here have done so much for us that we're not going anywhere. So that turned out to be one of the best decisions that I could have made, because we looked around, and the club, I was so interested because the club was one of the ones that we looked at. My roaster went to church with the guy that owned it, and it was horrifying. I'd never seen. Apparently they were running a pit bull puppy mill out of there as well. So yeah, a dead puppy amidst all of the clothes and feces. And yeah, so when I bought, I did all of the hard work. The partner that I partnered with on that, she sat and cut very small checks while I literally cleaned up sewage backup from Lucky Town. And that was rough. There was like 2 inches of sewage in that building. This group will remember because they saw it, and there was a lot of tireless work. It also was really hot over there. Did not hold a candle to that building over there. So Robert and I were like, and the guy wanted a lot for it too. And I was just like, there was actually a dead dog in there, man. So I think it was right after that I was so discouraged, and then Gina called, and I had seen this building, and because this was going to be, at that time, Nick Wallace was working on a project that was going to be here. I know it had taken a while, I didn't know what was going on. Gina called, and I think I came over there like that day or something, like 15 minutes later. And I remember walking through, and as soon as I saw it, it was the cleanest building that we had toured to that point. So who was talking about all the work I had to put into it? And when we came in here, we were like, this is a dream, y'all. Oh my word. It was the cleanest building, it was the largest building, and as soon as I walked in, I was like, gee, this is not gonna work. Every other building was out of her price range. This is 3 times larger, it's not gonna work. And then she told me the price, and I probably fainted. So she had to wake me up. And then I think that I was just like, whatever it takes. Yes, absolutely. So these amazing people have really changed our business for good. So they gave us a home. We were sub-renting illegally, apparently, which we did not know that. It's a Mississippi Cold Trip subleased to us a portion of their roastery, which they were not permitted to do, and we didn't find that out until a couple years later. So we were homeless for years when we started our business, and Midtown Partners gave us a beautiful home. So I think we bought it in July of last year, and then put about 5 months of work into it. Did everything ourselves, the Midtown way, and then moved in January. This lovely roasting machine is the Cadillac of roasters. We were able to buy that because we started Hoodoo Espresso Vodka with Cathead, and that blew up. And so we were very grateful to be able to get pretty much everything we wanted, and put it all into one home. So we're so grateful. We've already had parties here and people coming in and hosting. You know, the owner of Brown Bottling was here a couple weeks ago, and we couldn't have been more proud to show her Midtown. So we're very grateful. Nowhere to go but up from here. So thank you guys.
We're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
And we just gotta get you the van.
That's right. Yes. Whatever it takes. Sign me up.
Now Trey, is Hoodoo Espresso Martini, is that a limited item or is that permanent?
That is forever.
Oh,
Forever and
forever,
ever.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
It's
so
gonna
if
be
you go to
great.
Head, you can actually order Hoodoo.
Yep. That's right. There's
Yeah,
it's at
it's on their menu.
I think it's at every liquor store in Mississippi and in 10 states. Not every liquor store in Mississippi, but in Mississippi they confirmed it's I think like 90% of all on-premise retail package stores.
And I have to also give a plug for Trey and his group because they have a lot of collaborations around town. So collaboration with Cat Head, with the brewery, Cold Crown, and
Elseworks.
Elseworks, yeah. And then you've got out of town, you've got the Louisiana.
Tons, yeah. Well, our partners live in Covington,
Okay,
but
Covington,
we're just trying to work with as many. We are staunchly Jackson, and in my mind, Midtown is the heart of Jackson. So we're staunchly. Love you guys.
Well, let's go ahead and turn the floor over to Kim. You know, we've been watching a lot of construction going on over the fence.
Yeah.
Wondering what's going on over there. And we've been speculating, and we were like, well, let's just go to the source and find out. So, if you'd like to introduce yourself and just let us know what's going on.
Thank y'all for inviting me. My name is Kim Jordan. I am the Division Director for Residential Solutions for Canopy Children's Solutions. Yeah. So I run this over here. That's what I do. So like Trey, we are fully committed to Midtown. We have been Canopy, or we call it Care Center. So all this up here is called Care Center. And we have been here for about 30 years. And it started with just what is over here on Wesley Avenue. And then about 2009, we expanded. We got some land gifted to us on West Street. So I don't know how many acres we got, but we built some more. And then, so let me back up. So what we are is a PRTF, and that is a psychiatric residential treatment facility. So we have kids ages 6 to 17 that stay with us. They are kids that have been in and out of psychiatric care. Typically, they failed outpatient treatment, and they need a little bit more intensive one-on-one kind of locked facility care. And so what we offer is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, kind of intensive therapy. So they get individual therapy, they get group therapy, they get family therapy, they get lots of activities and recreation time, which we try to instill communication, teamwork, life skills. A lot of our kids are in CPS custody or have been in CPS custody. And so a lot of them, they've experienced tremendous amounts of trauma, and that can look like physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. It just varies. The things when I started working at Canopy, I didn't know the things that could happen to kids. I couldn't even make up the worst possible scenario doesn't touch what a lot of these kids have been through. And so I'm a nurse by trade, and I worked at St. Dominic's in the ER for a very long time, and I saw a lot of things. But the things that our kids have seen and been through doesn't touch what I as an adult have experienced and seen. And so we just try to show them love, we try to provide them with hope and let them know that their future doesn't have to stay where they are right now, and that it can be better tomorrow, and that they have the power to do that themselves. So we're trying to give them lots of tools and get them to where they're stable enough that they can return home, whatever home looks like, and that looks different for a lot of people. And I always tell them that we're not an end for treatment. So you don't just leave cares and you're fixed. You're we're not fixing anything. We're trying to provide you tools, trying to provide the families with tools, so that their kids can be successful when they go home. And treatment has to continue. They still have to continue going to therapy. They still have to continue getting medications. And, you know, as kids age and bodies change and metabolism changes and, you know, you get hormones and all these things, medications have to be adjusted constantly. So it is not a, you know, one size fits all. It's not a, here, you saw me once and now we're done. I mean, this is something that's got to be continually managed, and that if they take care of it now, they will 100% be, or can be, productive members of society, and that's our goal for these kids. So we are licensed for 60 beds, and we have had those 60 beds. We had 30 beds. That's what 30 years ago we had these 30 beds, and then in 2009 when they built on West Street, we built 30 more beds. And just this year, we partnered with Mississippi Department of Child Protective Services and Department of Mental Health, because I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a tremendous need for kids in custody to have a place to go. There is no home for them. They are currently living in hotel rooms with sitters. And that varies any day. It can vary between 20 to 40 kids that there's no place for them. And so Department of Mental Health, CPS, they had a need. And Canopy owned, it's kind of like a hospital system. You have to apply for a certificate of need and show that you need these beds and what services you're going to provide. We own 20 beds, but they were specific to the Gulf Coast. And that didn't work out for Canopy for various reasons. So those beds just kind of sat in the background, and we were going to let them go, which meant anybody could apply to own those beds. And after talking with CPS, after talking with DMH, we decided, the three of us decided to partner and go to bat with the legislature and ask for help. Because Canopy, we weren't in a position where we could build these new beds without some financial support. And DMH had a need, CPS had a need, and turns out there was a bunch of leftover COVID money that had not been used by the government, and it was about to just go away. It wasn't earmarked for anything, and if they didn't use it by a certain date, it just went away. So we did a lot of lobbying and spent the better part of last year and the early part of this year working with the legislature to get this approved and passed, and they did. And they gave us a very significant amount of money to where we were able to build 20 additional beds, which makes it 80 beds for us. And what we are trying to build there is, I say we're building for the 20, but we're really building for the 80. Something that's never been done. I mean, we want to provide a facility for kids where they use yoga and use all these alternative types of treatment, arts, creative, music, movement, nutrition, showing, you know, like what nutrition does for the body and how it heals the gut, which relates back to mental health. I mean, there's so many components to just sitting in a room with a therapist and talking for an hour. And that doesn't work for everybody. So I was really excited to see this. And but so we're building 20 additional beds, and we are trying to develop a program that we have not been able to find across the entire United States. We have a lot of partners or other people that do the same work as we do, and everybody's doing a piece of something, but nobody is taking it all and putting it together. And so that is our goal. We are in the midst of construction, but we have a company doing that, so we are fully engulfed in program development and what that is going to look like. We know that the kids that we're going to get are going to be even more challenging than the kids that we already have, because these are the kids that no one will take now. And so our facilities are going to have to be a little stronger for them, which is why typically we aren't able to take them now, because I don't want to put anybody in an unsafe environment. So we're excited about this. I don't know if you've seen any of the construction, but they literally started putting up metal Monday. And they're supposed to be done with construction by next October. So we have a year, and we plan to open next November. And I'm excited. It's a lot. And it's easy for me to conceptualize just doing this for 20 kids. That's easy. But then when you try to expand it on already existing space, already existing cottages and kids, that gets a little overwhelming. But it's okay. It's going to be fine. We're going to do it. We're going to be fine. So I just really appreciate you guys inviting us here. I hate John couldn't be here. I know that he would have enjoyed talking about all these Midtowners. And John is our CEO, and he actually started here on Wesley at this facility. And so you probably have seen as much as you guys have in your times. But thank y'all. Any questions about it? Anything you want to know?
I have a question. So I remember, because at one point, Chris Cherney
Yes.
used to be on our board,
Okay.
on Midtown Parking's board, and then when he got so busy, he wasn't able to come, he would send his executive assistant. So we've always been real close with Canopy, or Mississippi Children's Home, I think it was in. But I remember when they donated the land, and I think Mr. Shear probably also remember, because I just remember, they had this big rendering up front when they first got it donated, and then they said they was going to develop like from west all the way to me. It was going to be like a soccer field or baseball or something on the Beale Street side. But my question is, because when I first saw the development, I thought it was small. And then a week later, I was like, oh, wait, it's all the way over kind of to Duncan. So do you all have plans after this to go, because it's still more land?
So there is still more land towards Woodrow Wilson.
Right.
And right now, we do not have plans. Now, I will say that, so my care center, when all of this is done being built, we're going to move all of our kids from Wesley, and everybody will be on one campus. Right now, we're split, and they ride buses back and forth. It's fine. But this is going to be a game changer. So they do still have a soccer field out there.
Okay.
They have a walking trail that Blue Cross put in when they built the campus in 2009. But yes, it is going to be pretty much from almost West Street all the way. It literally backs up now to Mill Street. And there is still a bunch, but right now, the future phases that I want are still enclosed in that kind of area.
So will Canopy keep the existing?
Yes. So I don't know how much y'all know about Canopy, but we are the largest nonprofit mental health provider in the state of Mississippi. And we call our program solutions because when families need help, they don't want a program, they want a solution to the problem. So they call them solutions, and so we have lots of different solutions. And on West Street, there's that cream colored 2-story building, that's Canopy's as well. And we house in there several different solutions. So I imagine one of those will move over to the power space. Now, if you know anything about the land around here, So the reason we did not just renovate that was because the amount of money it was gonna take. I mean, literally one of our buildings is like splitting apart. And so the amount of money it was gonna take to renovate, we could build a whole new, like one cottage. But I think that we'll use it for something. I'm just not sure what, but we won't be giving it up.
Will your child nutrition department still stay there, or will everything be over here?
Well, right now, it's gonna be over here until we get some more money.
Okay. Because we used to work, the lady that was the director of the child nutrition program, we worked very closely with her. Like, to the point where if our milk truck was late, we could call and say, can I borrow a crate?
Was that Doris?
Yes, can I borrow a crate of milk? We'll give it. And she was like, oh, of course, just come on, and vice versa. She used to call us, same thing. But, yeah, so when she retired, we was like, oh, my, because it was just like an extension.
If you need milk, you call me. I got you.
But yeah, I'm just glad to hear that, more resources, solutions, I guess, will be available, because we've just been running into a lot. And we've been seeing that especially a lot of kids that were born during COVID, even though they're younger, we're just seeing some things. For a good bit of time, they weren't even in childcare, because we were shut down. So there's just some delays, developmentally, socially, so we are just seeing a couple of things. And what we're hearing is that this is national. There's a national situation.
So the buses we see coming and going is all just the same. For those campus, or do you bus kids in from other
So
solutions?
there is another solution that is so this campus, all that land was bought from Gene Austin Bagley, so we call it Bagley campus. And there is a school on that campus, and we call it day school. So there are kids that are bused in by their school district, so kids that are not successful in a traditional classroom setting. A lot of them have been expelled, suspended, they have learning disabilities, or on the autism spectrum, and they're just not able to sit in traditional classrooms, or they have behavior problems and they just can't make it. So the school district actually paid for them to come to the Bagley school, and they bus them every morning and pick them up every afternoon. So if you see big yellow buses, that is them, and they come from everywhere. They come from Yazoo, they come from Vicksburg, they come from Madison, Rankin. JPS traditionally does not send anybody. They tend to like to keep the kids in-house in their solutions. But all the surrounding areas, if they have a challenging kid, that they will send them here. Now the goal is for us not to keep them. The goal is that we work with them, do therapy with them, they continue to get their education. We're an accredited school, and then when they're ready, we transition them back into their home school. We work with the home school to work through a transition plan, and that can look different for all the kids. It may be that some kids, one school year, they're ready to transition back. Some 2 school years are ready to transition back. Some maybe a semester, and it just depends. But they may start going to their home school like every other day or once a week until they're ready to like fully integrate back into that classroom. I always tell, most of our teachers are all special ed teachers, so they're experienced with that type of youth and know how to help them with their needs. So what's tolerated in our classrooms would never be tolerated in traditional classrooms. I mean, it's nothing for me to walk by and a kid be cussing the teacher out, or throw a desk, or throw a chair. But that's what they're there for. They didn't come to us, they didn't get put in a special school because they have perfect attendance, good behavior, and straight A's. That's where we're trying to get them, but they just need the extra support, the extra help. They don't know how to manage their emotions. They don't know how to say, I don't know how to read. And so it's easier for me to throw a chair and get kicked out of the classroom. That way I don't have to take a test. I don't have to read. We always preach and teach that there's always a why behind the behavior, and for us not to focus on the behavior itself that they have. Why do they have that behavior? Let's look at like what's going on behind there. Is it something at home? Is it that they literally don't know how to read and so they don't want to take a test? So I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get kicked out of the classroom so I don't have to take a test. Sorry, that was a long answer.
Quick question, I'm one of your few neighbors on the other side of
Okay.
Duncan still. So, as a preface, I really appreciate what y'all do. My day job is working out at Central Mississippi Correctional Facility with some fine young Christian men who have committed these horrible crimes to these kids. So, I understand your need for security and, all of that. So, view out the front window is not great, with 9-foot concrete block wall, I understand all these things. But who decided to start construction at 4 a.m. in the morning with heavy equipment and floodlights lighting up
Do
the
they
street?
do that every day?
No.
Or was it just when they were laying concrete?
They were cutting concrete or sandblasting. Every house for 2 blocks was covered with this white powder. Runs down our street for 3 blocks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know who made that decision, but it
Was
got
it-
a phone call to
was
the
it me?
police. Yeah, it got a phone call to the police because, some of us do have to get up and work the next day.
I completely understand.
So, I don't know who's got control of the construction company or if they were trying to meet some deadline.
I think they did tell us that when they laid foundations, that it would be 3 or 4 in the morning, but that should not be happening here because I think foundations are laying.
Like I say, that
I don't
might
know
be okay on
why.
Woodrow Wilson's side of the property, but on the residential side of the property.
I think
they're
they do
not.
it because that's when the wind is the least. I don't really know. I'm not a construction.
At 4 a.m.
It matters 4 a.m. Why they do it
It looked like solid
How
fire.
can you even see it 4 a.m.?
Oh, it was well lit.
They brought in the light.
Yes, they had 12-foot high floodlights all over the property shining through the
They had
black.
them.
Well, we have a construction meeting next week, and I will let them know. Yes, sir.
So, the first thing that pops into my mind is art therapy. There's a
I want art therapy.
natural relationship between what y'all are doing and what we can do here in Midtown. The art therapy thing.
And the nutritious
Just
things,
the-
I was like digging.
I know. And so, all of that.
Oh, here's my card.
Okay, and then, and so, Pearl River has the conservatory where we're teaching classes and having a play studio, ceramic studio, and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna be able to
Okay.
So we're going to be able to tie into that. One more thing was that actually the Mississippi Children's Home Society has been on that location for almost, if not more than 100 years. Because years
Oh,
ago,
I forgot the adoption agency. Is that where it was
well,
originally?
it was called Mississippi Children's Home Society.
Yes.
They've been there since 1913.
Yes.
So there's been a children's thing for orphans and all that in that location for well over
Okay, I
100 years.
didn't realize that the original was in that location.
There's a stained glass window,
Yes.
and then to look at that stained glass window, because that was in one of the original buildings that was there, because we had to put it back together again for y'all years and years and years ago. So if you ever have a history thing, just let me know, and I'll tell you.
That is great.
I'm gonna go, I want to meet with you again about
They
it.
actually
Yeah.
had office complex.
Yes, absolutely. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, that area between Keener and Western was also had an office complex there. Most of it was crab apples. But they had an office complex there that's sort of loading polling station.
That's one of the other things that we were doing here. So Monica works for Midtown Partners. I know we put that together. When she was talking about we, she was talking about the school.
And I also live in Midtown
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. And I also work with Midtown Partners. But we're also working with the help of a lot of people here, putting in gardens throughout the neighborhood. So we planted orchards, about 5 different orchards.
We started the garden.
Yes, good.
We started the garden and it's on this campus. We call this campus Powers. And then the other campus is Bagley. And so we have a garden on Power. We have a summer and a winter garden. And now John, our CEO, would love to have a garden so big that we have to hire a farmer for when we finish on this other campus. And that may actually end up on the Woodrow Wilson side. He has like this, he's a very big dreamer.
Well, we need to put him together with Andy who just left. Because Andy has a dream of planting a fig orchard in Midtown.
Forever.
He has talked about a fig orchard
Forever
forever.
and ever.
Okay,
So,
well, I mean,
we need to just
we
connect.
need to plant this garden, and John has this dream that the kids can like help grow it,
They can
prune
make
it, and then
fig
they can
preserves.
sell like the figs at the farmer's market or something. I mean, he's got big dreams for this.
So that's something else that we can look at partnering on, because like we have a kitchen, a commercial kitchen right next door, and that's what we're gonna start using is a process that we did before from all the places. And, help figure out how to like make, preserves and things like that, and then, be able to sell.
So one of the activities that we've done, we have one particular staff that's really good at the garden, and she's kind of in charge of it, and she just tells the rest of us like what to do. And what she does is each cottage, she says, this is what's growing out there, would pick something, and we'll come up with a recipe, come up with a menu, and get to like help make it, serve it, sort of thing. So one group wanted to use the sweet potatoes that they grew. So they decided on sweet potato casserole. And so they,
Love that.
worked the garden, got the sweet potatoes, cleaned them up, made the meal, served it. One group made butter. Now they make the butter, but they do grow like herbs and stuff. And so they did create like an herbal butter, and they made bread, and they served it at our Lakeland office, which is for administration. So they went over there with the bread and the butter that they made, and
And then Brittany works with Good Samaritan, and they have a garden there too.
Really?
And we also have like volunteer opportunities and also over senior center as well. Then we also have like our kids from the library, they come do stuff with the seniors and stuff like that.
nice.
A lot of
I would love to see your
projects.
garden.
Yeah, come out and bring the kids.
You know, is it big or?
It's not that big, it's like a container garden. So
Okay.
we teaching people how to garden right in the city.
Yes.
So
Somebody told us about the hydroponic gardens or.
We're doing that.
Okay, how's it going?
Good. We've got some at the middle school, and we had one over here at the primary school, but we're actually going to put them over here in the half right next door. So we're going to add to that. Kind of fun.
Yeah.
For recreating, lettuces, things like that. So, yeah. But, well, thank you so much. Does anybody else have anything you want to share tonight? Before we
How many people are y'all employing here? I know 60 kids now, soon to be 80 kids.
We specifically at Care Center, I employ probably 120. Those offices in the two-story building probably has an additional 40 or so. And then I will probably bring on another 60.
So how do they apply when people would like to apply for the position?
For staff? We will be posting those positions. We've actually coming up with a schedule now of like when we'll start posting what positions, because a year from now actually happens to be but mycanopy.org is here, and you can take my card too. All those positions will be posted on there. Or you can call me.
Because I have a couple of friends that's moving back home, that was in the military, they're looking for work.
Yeah.
I think they would be right there.
Other than taking care of the kids, is staffing the hardest part?
Yes. It's hard to come to a job that you can be kick, punch, spit on, I mean, you know, just, and they talk about your mama, your baby, and everything else, and you're supposed to like not react. And have to remember that's the reason we teach. It's about the why behind the behavior. They don't care about you, your mama, or your baby. It's not about you. It's maybe that they just tried to call their mom and their mom didn't answer the phone. And so there's always something there. And so the hardest part is finding staff that can remember it's not about them, cannot react. And so sometimes they do react. That ends badly for the staff member. Or sometimes they just get tired of it. I mean, it's hard work. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You guys are going to apologize. The food for some reason is screaming late. But we got to go place. So the great thing is you can take some home and enjoy some spaghetti and green beans and salad.
Oh my
On
God.
top, you can take you some drink and everything. But you definitely want to make sure you have a little something to take with you.
Thank you, Kim. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's exciting. I'm glad
That's great.
about 20 new beds coming through.
No, it's exciting and scary all at the same time.
Well, and I love what you said about you're doing something that nobody really else is doing. I love the idea of being able to bring in some of the resources that Midtown.
I'll be honest, I have no idea.
Right.
Like, I honestly, I don't usually go past, I mean, like, I'm making the block a lot.
That just helping these kids and I'm
Kind of land so you know, Roger, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah. This is awesome.
You're like a little tree. Yeah.
And then like Lee and Landry and Kenny are all
Okay.
else. I guess I tell her, just, you know, bring her in. You know each other.
So we all work in the business. We have an entrepreneurship program called Elseworks. Landry's the director of it. Penny and I teach and we help with it. But Elseworks works with a lot of businesses over in Midtown. So that's our partnership.
Yeah, and they've been just, I mean, really support across the, just across the street.
So what is the program, the entrepreneurship program?
And we do business assistance.
We can rename it
Okay,
Wall
various
Street.
people.
Wall Street, Wall Street.
Anything from marketing to finance, any domain we kind of cover. And those the students will be the ones that do it. Yeah.
That would be fun.
We actually had a couple analysts, I think, at Canopy. Gavin was the most recent. Gavin Williams. He's one of our analysts this year. He, I think, last summer and the summer before, I believe, or spring before.
intern.
He's an
Okay.
intern at Canopy.
Yeah, they'll have some partnership with y'all.
Yes.
Yes.
That's separate from what we do. But
Yes, it is.
you know, if you've got a marketing problem, you got a finance problem, let us take us down.
They use our situations for like living laboratories really. Awesome help learn.
We've done a few partnerships with LSAS, athletics, basketball. They've come over and done some things with the kids or let the kids come over for games. So that's been great. The kids love volunteers. They love anybody that will spend time.
Look at it. Have to work. And it's like, actually, I had no idea really, you know, I had just a bit of it now.
Lower the cost of raw materials. So like,
Well,
I
I
just concentrate credit oil and I do
reach out
oil because with my manager, she decided that she had good. You know, we had distribution rates, you know what I'm saying? So she used me as their target of giving the country, and I was slaying on the.
Across a lot of different sectors.
I feel like I need to do something.
You guys, welcome.
That's awesome. Right. That's so cool, man. That's so cool.
Okay, so did you know Aaron Atkins?